Hey YouTubers, it's Steve Robertson again, coming from Rescape, my YouTube channel that seeks to aid and benefit people by helping them be more aware and informed of their fundamental perception of reality and what that is, and how by being aware of it you can alter it to increase your levels of freedom and the depths of your relationships and quality of life, and how having a more attuned fundamental perception of reality with what's actually there allows you to do things you didn't know you could do and be things you didn't know you could be and grow as a human being. And then how when large groups of people come together with attuned fundamental perception of reality, how that gives them the opportunity to change the course of human history. Today's interesting because all of my videos up to this point have just been me being like, I think I'll just do this one. But today, very specifically, God has told me to do a video on lying. I think twice earlier today, and then right before now it was very clear, like he wants me to do a video on lying. And I was trying to think beforehand, because I usually don't give really much thought beforehand, but I'm like, what about lying is there to say? Like, what is he trying to get me across? And I think I understand what he wants me to say. So first, let's define lying. Under the paradigm, at least of this channel, there's truth is fundamental and it doesn't change, like the laws of scientific materialism. There's laws of the universe that don't, as far as we know, don't change, and there's truth that doesn't change, that is not independent from person to person. Like, we all, being in physical reality, share truths, and this is true in spiritual, I think in spiritual realms as well. There's an absolute truth that doesn't change, that everyone has to relate to. Like, you jump off a cliff, you're gonna fall and die because there's gravity, and it's true that gravity exists and things like that. So with lying, let's take away a couple other things. Instead of lying, you have the opportunity to say nothing. So lying doesn't just imply that you're hiding the truth, because you can hide the truth and that's not a bad thing necessarily. You just choose not to say anything. So, but what lying does is that you're adding something that's not there. So if you specifically intentionally lie to someone, then knowing it's a lie, because that's another thing too, because a lot of people believe something's true and then they say it and then they're not lying. So what this is very sinister, is that you have an idea in your mind of what you believe to be true, and you're specifically you know, outputting information that you know does not align to what you hold to be true. So that's what I define as a lie. Now, here's the deal. Here's the deal with lying. Like with most things that we consider to be wrong, lying, stealing, killing, envy, all this stuff, the root cause of the injustice isn't on the victims. It's on the person perpetrating the acts, that they have the fundamental perception of reality that's incorrect, that causes them to want to do those things. For example, if you steal from something, you don't have the correct fundamental perception of reality that the universe is abundant and will give you anything you ask for. So because if you believe that you could have anything you ask for, there would be no, you wouldn't even think of the, it would never occur to you to steal, or that stealing was even a thing unless someone told you about it. Same thing with killing. Like, if you have the correct fundamental perception of reality that we are all part of one family, we're supposed to love each other unconditionally, then the thought of killing someone wouldn't even cross your mind unless someone actually told you about it. So, and onwards, onwards, onwards. So with lying, the incorrect fundamental perception of reality is that you have the opportunity to output things that aren't there. Like like what I talked about in my previous video on effort. Like, it takes effort to lie because you are coming up with something that was not there before. So truth is very simple. It reveals itself plainly to anyone who is perceptive enough to see it. And when you lie, you have to, use, there's a creative aspect to that. Because if it was part of the truth, you wouldn't have to create anything, because you would already be talking about something you've experienced. So, okay, so all that as a background. What does this have to do? Why does God want me to do a video on lying? This is why he wants me to do a video on lying. Because if you understand that it's the fundamental perception of reality being incorrect, that's the injustice, then what you have to understand is that the damning act of lying isn't on harming people that you're lying to. It's literally the fact that you are lying, that you find yourself in the act of lying, that you are very literally damning yourself. And this is how this works. If you come across something that's true and then you choose not to believe that thing because it's too hard to be true, because you'll have to change too much of your life to be true, because it's too unrealistic, and obviously everything else that people have been telling you, they must be right, even though they don't know what they're talking about either. And you come across true things, and this isn't necessarily a situation where you come across something that is true but you're not sure. Like, that's completely different. But this is when you have like divine encounters, like, you'll come across things and they're true, And it can be really scary because then the implications of knowing this new truth means that a lot of things might have to change. And what a lot of people do, they convince themselves or they lie to themselves that what they know to be true is not true. Now, this is why it's damning. It's damning because from that point onwards, once they believe that that truth that they came across, that they knew to be true, once they believe that it in fact wasn't true and they convinced themselves of that, every point in time from that point onwards for the rest of their life and potentially for the rest of eternity, when they come across that truth, they won't recognize it. They made the judgment to choose not believe in something that need to be true, and from there on out, that judgment stands. So, and the only way to undo that judgment is literally for them and only them. No one can convince them. It has to be them to remember what they did and then to change that. In the Bible, when it talks about repenting literally means changing your mind. Like you have to go back and change your mind to decide to believe that. But the problem is, if you have that judgment and then like years pass by, like, are you going to even remember? Will you ever recognize it? Like, is there any possibility at that point? Like, it literally has to be a miracle at that point. And then the other situation is, it's not just one thing. Like people, like, you know, will come across things they know to be true, and then they'll purposely make themselves disbelieve it and lie to themselves, and they do that a lot. And so now you have lots of things, and then it's like, how would you know at that point? If you ever encounter the truth, you'd have no way of knowing because you made that judgment. So you get yourself in a bad place, and then with the fundamental perception reality shift, you can't have a correct fundamental perception reality if you choose to lie to yourself like that. So that's what God's wanted me to make a video of. If anybody's watching this video and knows what I'm talking about, you need to go back and you need to reconsider. Because if you don't, you know, like the clock's ticking and you may not remember next time. So if you really take these things seriously and you really want to, you know you're a truth seeker and want to know truth, you have to be willing to, when you encounter things that you know to be true, to do that with courage and with the sacrifice of knowing you'd rather know what's true rather than just living an easy life or whatever. Like you're willing to live a really hard life as long as you know it's true. It's like me personally, I'm at the point now in my journey, like I'm ready I'd lay down anything. Like of myself, I would lay down anything just to know what's true and just more truth. That is fine with me. So, but there was a time where I had problems doing this too, and I had to do repenting, you know, sometimes probably, but once you learn this, it's no longer a hard fix. You just do it because you can feel your mind start to bend to where you're like, where you don't want to believe it, but then you have to like suck it up and be like, no, like I've encountered this now, I have to own it. So own the truth, don't lie to yourself, understand correct fundamental perception reality. If you want to change that, if you want to grow in truth, this is what you have to do. So that's lying. This is Steve Robertson, Rescape. I don't know what week it is. If you have any questions, post in the comments. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks, bye.